I've gone through quite a bit of leadership training over the years, like many of you, and I've got down to the essence of my strengths and weaknesses, and I've decided that my strength in life is buying dinner. So thank you for allowing me to live out my life's purpose tonight, so all being here. We have many things to be thankful for in Minnesota. One of them is not the winter, of course. Maybe Brett Favre is on that list, at least with one game, it's gone. Certainly the Twin Stadium, outdoor baseball coming back to Minnesota is on that list of things to be thankful for. But I want to mention three things that we're very thankful for in Minnesota. One is the fact that it is the home of SCCE and HUCA. I can't tell you what a good thing that is for us there. What it brings to us in terms of the talent, the culture, and really the grooming of the community there, which is really the compliance community that we've all been talking about here tonight, which is just an incredible phenomena, that it's just this now big a profession. And so I think we should all be very proud of that, but we in Minnesota are so proud to have it. Minnesota also be the home of SCC and HUCA. And I personally have taken upon myself to have every person who is sort of a budding professional in this compliance area to get together with Roy Snell. What a way to learn about the profession, right? So, and I say, go and meet Roy, and he'll tell you about how it all started. And sometime during that conversation, you have to say to him, why don't these compliance officers all report to lawyers anyway? And why is independence such a big deal? And then I say, by the way, have him tell you the pig joke. I love the kid in the closet joke, but the pig joke is the better one, I think. So you have to get to that one. The second thing that we're really proud of, really overall in Minnesota, is really our whole healthcare community. And one of the things that is interesting is that over the years, from a lawyer perspective, we haven't had any of the 4 law schools in Minnesota really spend a lot of time on the development of really health law curriculum. And finally, we had a law school that was brave enough to do that, and it's Hamline University, which is a wonderful private college and a national school based in Minnesota. And so Hamline developed its own health law institute with many years ago, and it's really become a wonderful thing. And a few years ago, they did something even better, which is they heard about what we were doing in terms of really trying to promote compliance as its own profession and develop another level of curriculum and connection with universities and teaching around compliance. And they were also brave enough to then say, all right, we want to have compliance be a major part of what we do. So that started a few years ago. And so we're incredibly thankful for that. We're proud to have that as part of our community, too. And I think to see that growing around the country with other universities is great. We're happy to have Hamline doing that in Minnesota. The third thing we're very proud of and happy about is Cindy Jessen, who's here tonight to really accept the award on behalf of Hamline. She is the leader of the Health Law Institute. She's the one who's developed it. She's the one who developed the compliance as really such a strong part of that program, and she herself is a great resource. She was with the Attorney General's office for many years in Minnesota, was a partner with the Oppenheimer law firm, which is one of the best firms in Minnesota. She also was deputy counsel, really, for Amy Klobuchar at the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, and Amy Klobuchar, I don't know if many of you know, is now our senator from Minnesota. And really, Cindy has been a primary guiding light in our health law community for many, many years. We're so happy that she took on this role at Hamline, so happy that she has developed through Hamline the support there. The compliance curriculum is part of their program too, and they are deeply deserving of the award, and we want to thank Cindy for all of her efforts. So congratulations.
Well, it's really humbling to be here. I mean, I'm the simple law professor that assigns all the articles, books, and guidelines that the rest of these award recipients have written. But I was actually really encouraged when I heard that Jeff Kaplan had dressed up in a Red Devil costume, because at one event, because I thought, okay, this is something I can relate to, because I remember when I was chief deputy for a large public law office in Minnesota, and we had an event on Halloween, and so I just dressed up in my witch costume, big hat, flowing black dress. But instead of being met with the reception that I had changed compliance, I think I was met with the reception by those that we regulated and prosecuted. Well, that witch costume is really fitting. But seriously, I really want to thank Keith Howland and all of you. But let me start with Keith. When I started this job as director of the Health Law Institute at Hamline 3 years ago, I talked with Keith, who has been a longtime friend, and he said, Cindy, I don't think you should just be talking about health law. You need to also be talking about compliance and ethics. Well, I'm pretty good at figuring out what's a good idea, and Keith certainly had one for me. But I think, actually, the best thing I did was not just to follow up with the idea with the support of the university, but convince Keith to help me implement it. He is one of our adjunct professors, and he and Jenny O'Brien teach our compliance skills class, because at Hamlin, we really want our students to graduate with their certificates, not only getting that textbook knowledge, but also those practical skills. And Keith has been just a great help. So, Professor Howland, thank you. But I also just want to thank all of you who really were the inspiration, in addition to Keith, for this program that we have started at Hamlin. You know, as a lawyer, as a regulator, now as a teacher, I've worked with so many compliance and ethics professionals. And, you know, I know the great value you add to our society. And you demonstrate that knowing the laws is just not enough. You also have to provide the leadership to get large groups of people to follow the laws and to do the right thing. And of course, that is what at Hamlin we are trying to teach our students. But for those of you who either are lawyers or work with lawyers, you know that when you're talking about lawyers or law students, that teaching that's not always intuitive. Now, I teach the first class in our series of compliance classes at Hamlin, Introduction to Healthcare Compliance. And I try and get our students to start out with kind of a real-life example. So I make them, you know, I put them in this scenario where they are the compliance official, and they are meeting with a compliance official in a nursing home situation. They're meeting with a nursing assistant who's come in to express concerns about the use of bed rails in the facility. So we go through the scenario, and then I say to the students, take 5 minutes and think about what your next step is right after she tells you this concern. They take 5 minutes. They come back. Now, these, of course, are the people, for the most part, JD students that we've just been training to think like lawyers, right? And they come back and they tell me all the laws and regulations that govern bed rails. And I think many of us in this room would sit there and say, wait, you have an employee on the other side of the table, maybe running off to do the legal research is not the best first step. But if you think about it, that is what they have learned so far in school. And I think the encouraging thing, at least with our program, during just these first years with the help of Keith and so many others, is that by the end of the classes that we teach, they learn that the law is just a starting place. It is not the answer. And sometimes it's not even a very good, like in this situation, starting place. They learn about the importance of governance, the importance of communication, the critical importance of having a good process, and they pick up a lot of project management skills, I must say, along the way. So I want to thank all of you for being our inspiration. To so many of you who've helped us. I know Roy's come and spoken to one of our classes. Dan Roach came and just gave a great presentation to all of our students. And for those of you we haven't reached out to yet, I'm warning you, we're starting a new mentorship program for all of our compliance students, so you could be next.